grateful we are for your love and grace, and we thank you, Heavenly Father, for the opportunities you give us to serve. And we would ask, Lord, that you would be with us during this meeting. Help us that we might be mindful of the needs of the city and what we need to be doing. Give us wisdom, give us understanding. In Jesus' name we pray.
Public requests. We don't have any. Departmental reports, the administrator.
Oh, y'all got a little list on the table from Morris Engineers. We've been working on trying to figure out a good place to stick the new overhead tank. And on the very last sheet, there's I believe it's called a topography map. Tim come down there and figured out this would be the 3 ideal places to put a new tire. The first one, you don't see it. This one over here, that's up there at Hall Cemetery and Boss Road. Excuse me. The one in the middle, that's very end of Sunset across Bledsoe in that field. The other one's up here, and I think it's called Callaway Grove. It's up there where that brick house is, right by the railroad track. That would probably be a good place because there's supposedly going to be a new water line run out through there. That could help a lot. Another thing is we're working on a grant. This is what that grant that Glenn Denning and them are doing for us. Let's try to get some help because rough figuring we're looking at between $35,000 and $40,000 a year in bond payments for 20 years. So hopefully maybe we can get a grant this year to help offset that sum. But we're also looking at a 200,000 to a 500,000 gallon tank. They got the growth projection here is raising. It's going up, seems like every month. One thing I'd like to do, I know the 500,000 gallon tank's a pretty good chunk more money, but I hate to put a smaller one up now and then 3 years later have to do another one. And that's what we're kind of leaning towards working on. That is just coming up with some more accurate figures on what everything's going to cost to run. Also, we're going to have to do change some lines around out here on the Parent Drive on the south side of town to tie all that in. We're going to try to loop everything in around Highway 5 from like Walnut Street down to Bledsoe, which is 8 and 10 inch on Bledsoe. And I just wanted to bring y'all up to speed with kind of what we're doing on that part of it. So this is the
$45,000, is that with the land?
No, that's just strictly what the cost of the
tire.
yeah.
So we had to purchase it.
Yeah. There's another. I'm still talking with Tim a little bit about this when we talk. I think we've got enough room where we own well 4 down here on Western Hill, but with the difference in the elevation from like Boss Road to that, it's right at 30 feet. You're looking at $1,000 a foot to raise it, so you're looking at $30,000+ to make the tire tall enough right there. Which we've got the pumps and wells and everything right there, but at a later date I was going to talk to you about the ground storage and what's happening with it. So in the near future, wells may be a thing of the past anyway. And that's why the Callaway Grove looks like a pretty good site right now because of that new water line supposed to go through.
Move on to new business, consent items. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Sam? Motion made by Sam, seconded by Thomas. Any discussion? Vote. All 4? Need to consider resolution 02-003, a resolution approving an agreement dated June 18, 2002 between the state of Texas and the city of Howe for the maintenance, control, supervision, and regulation of certain state highways and or portions of state highways in the city of Howe.
This is just a
Maintenance agreement.
maintenance agreement, we had one before, they just update this every 5
This
years.
is the renewal on it for the 5th year.
So it's really no different from what we've been doing.
No, it's verbatim exactly what those said.
I make a motion, we accept that.
Second?
I'll second.
Jerry? Any further discussion? All in favor? The next item on the agenda is to consider the interlocal agreement with the Grayson County for street work at Chip and Seal. You have a letter dated June 11th to Johnny Waldrop that was approved at Commissioner's Court Monday, and Steve, you said that's going to run roughly what?
Roughly, it's gonna be between 19 and 21,000. It's gonna be for 11,050 foot of road.
And this is with the county coming in and doing the labor for us and supply the material.
We'll buy material and probably their lunch.
I recommend we accept this interlocal agreement with the county.
So moved.
Jerry? Second by Mark. Any further discussion? When will this work begin?
We're looking, if we gotta do some road work ourselves, I'm looking towards the middle of July to the last of July, somewhere in that time frame.
All four? Next item is to consider sewer collection system improvements, Western Hills commercial area west of US 75. Steve, you're in justice on that?
Yeah. Actually, we got two sewer lines we're gonna try to replace. One Western Hills it's an old line, it's clay tile, it's busted up pretty bad, it's got concrete encasing about 30 inches all the way around it. And we got the extra money from the bond on the big sewer project we had going back to the Sherman system. And I'd like to replace that line, and then we also got, it's kind of a bypass line over here. Everything on the south and the east end of town all comes to one line. And we're talking about, Tim's looking at putting another 6-inch line. I think actually he called it a release sewer line. It's going to run across Bobby Sauce's field back here off the back of Davis Street, across Mr. Junkins to that manhole right there on Hanning, just up from 10th Street a little way. And it should help take some pressure off the off the main line that comes down O'Connell Street.
So the one, what, west of 75?
That's the one behind the apartments over there, on the north side of the apartments.
That's the one that needs just replacing because
It's old and the concrete and the ground shifting, and it's, actually we think there's a belt cracked in it, and we have to run that sewer line pretty regularly. And it's just, and I also believe there's a swag in that creek that slows it down, and we're gonna go in there and just put the brand new one in and replace it all.
and your sewer machine won't.
It won't go through.
So
But we can knock it out where it works, but we can't go all the way through. And then we're gonna add another manhole on it too, so we can go from manhole to manhole. Right now we can't. There'll be another manhole put right in the middle behind the point.
This other one's going to improve the.
It should, when we have some flooding on the south side of town, this should help alleviate it where we don't have spillage out of manholes. We'll have a bypass lane, it'll have two places to go right there, right over here, just a few houses down from the bottom.
Although we're considering both, the only one we can act on tonight is the Western Hills commercial replacement. That's the only thing that we can act on tonight, yes. It's the only thing going on the agenda. The West Denny relief service is put on future agenda for acceptance. Steve, is that your recommendation
Yes.
on this Western Hills commercial
Yeah.
replacement?
That won't affect the basic quote with it.
No, it
Because
should.
we'll come back and,
No, that's a quote from Tim, and that's when they come in and bid on it.
so if we do the one in Western Hills tonight and then at a later date the other one, the bid's gonna stay the same.
It should. I don't see it changing for any reason. Like I say, this is a quote from Tim Morris, and it won't change at all.
Motion was made, do I have a second? Thomas? Any further discussion? All four? Now we move into public hearing, ordinance number 539-A. An ordinance of the City of Howe, Texas, amending city ordinance number 539, confirming the incorporated limits and boundaries of the City of Howe, adopted and approving a map of the city, setting out said limits and boundaries, directing the city secretary to file this ordinance and map in the records of the city, and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public and properly posted for hearing as required by law, containing a savings clause, containing a repealer clause, directing publication of this ordinance and providing for an effective date. Ordinance number 545. An ordinance amending City of Howe Animal Control Ordinance, now codified as Code of Ordinance of the City of Howe, Chapter 2, Animal Control, by removal of Chapter 2, Animal Control, adopting and codifying a revised Chapter 2, attached hereto is Exhibit A, providing for penalty and maximum fine of $2,000 for violation, providing that the caption of this ordinance shall be published in the official newspaper, providing for a stating clause and the repeal of ordinances in conflict with the provisions hereof, and finding that the ordinance was passed at an open meeting. End of public hearing. On ordinance number 539-A. On the 539-A, that's your letter in there from the attorneys. The verbiage wasn't legally correct, so it includes the means and bounds. I recommend that we adopt this ordinance.
Second.
Jared? Any further discussion? All four? On ordinance 545, the animal control. I recommend we go with this ordinance. We have a motion? Thomas? Second? Sam? Any further discussion? All four? Next item is to consider roof repairs to the Howe Community Center at 700 West Canning. Steve? Recommendation?
We have tried patching that roof, I think at least 3 times. And when the wind blows a certain way, it still gets water underneath that tin somehow. I'm not really sure how it does it. We haven't figured it out yet. We've got some money left over from past insurance claims, and I would like to go up there, and we got 2 bids from Sherman Roofing and Dave Coach, and I would like to pick one of them and go pull that tin off and put decking and get a 30-year roof on that. Dave Coach got their bid, Sherman Roofing got theirs, and Sherman Roofing turned in references that were very impeccable. They were very well spoken of.
Do we have any kind of warranty on this? Labor or?
They got 2 labor warranties. Sherman is 1 year and Dave Coach 5.
What's the difference in the
The 10-5 and the Daveco, that's the composition of theirs.
Yeah. With the decking, flashing, and everything.
So you were thinking about composition?
Yeah, because I don't know much about tin roofs, and like that, we have fought that thing numerous times, and like I say, water still gets in, and we have no idea where it's coming in on that 10. And so I feel like the composition route is probably better seat that place than anything else leak purposes.
Can you say the references of, Sherman had a good references?
Yeah.
And Daveco?
I never did get any from them. I've got, if you want them, there's some more about Sherman that he turned in. I think it's on the last sheet or two.
Steve, you did have Daveco roofing for representation.
Yes, I did call for references, and they was all.
Talk to all these.
All the ones on the very last sheet, the ones no. The schools, I couldn't get a hold of anybody at the schools, but the very last sheet where I actually called them are the ones I talked to, most of the businesses.
Is this Izzy Alvin?
Well, Abraham's the one that came down and talked to me, but Izzy actually on the phone.
What did you ask for these bids? First part of you? Looks like they got them in the first part.
Yeah, they came, they both came the same day, matter of fact. I can't remember the exact date, it was right as first. Or it may have been right as last, I'm not even sure what the date is on there. Okay. Sherman, I think Sherman says they're only good for 10 days, but he said that, Abraham said that Sherman would be good until councilman did.
Do you keep working a little more?
What?
Can you work them anymore?
I tried.
How many square feet? How many squares? Does it say 50?
Yeah, I knew it was over 45, I can't remember. That bid's pulling off the 10 and hauling it off and everything.
Steve, do you recommend using Sherman roofing?
I would recommend Sherman roofing just because of the references I talked to. I mean, it was just, like I say, everybody had the same story. And, it just sounded good.
They have a 30-year warranty compared to 25 from Daveco too.
Yeah.
On shingles.
Motion to authorize the repair of the community center roof using Sherman Roofing Company's logo.
Composition.
Yeah, the composition.
Second.
And then the motion has been seconded. Is there any further discussion?
This doesn't give Steve any more negotiating room, though, does it?
Well, we're authorizing to go ahead for the repairs, but he can renegotiate the proposal, yes. But tonight we're authorizing the repairs up to $9,500 by Sherman Roofing Company. Any further discussion? All four? Next item is consider use of police vehicles for traffic control on Highway 75 during construction. Chief Keezy, do you have information on that?
You know, about 3 months ago, we attended a pre-construction meeting with Dunning Brothers, TxDOT, and all the contractors involved in the Highway 75 expansion project that's going on right now. Dunning Brothers has figured money into their budgets, and usually what they do on these big projects is sometime during the project when they're having a lot of heavy congestion, they'll request that off-duty officers be placed at the site with police cars to help facilitate traffic movement and safety of their employees. I've been talking with Robert down in Austin, and he's been doing most of the talk with Dunning Brothers, and we have basically presented a package to them at $15 an hour for officers, which doesn't have anything to do with the council, but the part that does is the $10 per hour per car. If we're going to stick to that, if that's okay with you, if we can use the squad cars to do that with, basically what they'll do, they'll cut a check for $15 an hour, part-time money, off-duty pay for whatever officers we work out there on their off-duty time, and then they will in turn cut us a check, city of Howe, general fund for $10 an hour per car. A lot of your police departments do this. Dallas does it. Possibly Collin County does it when they're working on their big projects on these highways. So it's not an unusual, unheard of thing to do this. So
It's pretty standard practice.
yeah. It's pretty much all the police departments that are on big highways and stuff, especially when these big projects are going on. It'll get down to the point out there where it's worse than a crawl, and it's probably when they start up in the center of that highway out there, putting laying in solid concrete. That's when it's going to really be a pain. And they haven't asked us yet, but we just need to be ready and have it in place. And we pretty well already give them a figure of this is what we'll take, no less, at least $10 an hour per car for the city cars to be used per hour.
Chief, once this does come about, they will have a contract for us to look at and sign.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they will. They put in a lot of money for security, for traffic control directions on these big projects like what's going on out here. This is definitely a major project here. This is going to be a 3-year project. It won't finish until about May of 2005.
Have you talked with them as far as if the officers out there, if something in the city takes priority, are they okay with them leaving?
Robert's talked to them at Dunning Brothers, and they're looking at that. He had presented that to them, and but we're not going to take any less than $10 per hour per car, period. You know, if they don't want to pay that, well then, okay, so be it. You know, we're not taking our cars out there.
That's pretty cheap compared to what they pay for us out here.
Yeah, Dallas. A lot of your neighborhood patrol, they have these neighborhood groups down there that pay the city, they pay the officer off-duty money, and then they also pay to have the car, have a police vehicle out there, belongs to the city, and they're paying over $15, $20 an hour for some of their cars. So, and they're sitting there just idling. You know, that's basically what these are going to be doing, but we still need to get this approved, one way or the other before we come to that point of them saying, okay, look, we need to get somebody out here with a car, or whatever. So.
March 2nd.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All for it? Okay, now we're going to have a presentation by Chief Keezy on the proposed renovation to the police station and the city offices.
I'm going to be a little long-winded on this, so y'all need to bear with me here. First of all, what I'm going to start out with is approximately about a month and a half ago, I think you realize that we had some major damage to the city police facility with a lady that decided to drive her car through the front window of our facility and make my office into a parking lot. So our insurance adjusters came out, made the adjustment on the building at $18,000 with a $1,000 deductible, which is $17,000. We looked at the building. We have been having a lot of problems with the building. I think that Steve has sent y'all some council communiques or council memos in regards to the building and a lot of the work that needs to be done over there. The building, it's an old building. It's getting to the point where it's getting to be unserviceable. I'll just kind of lead you through the building and just kind of give you a brief idea of some of the problems we're having. And I've got some pictures for you to look at. When you first come into the building, you open the door. It's got to the point now where you can't hardly get the front door open. It's dragging so bad. It's probably fixing to slip the glass. You walk in the door, the first thing you see on the floor is the fact that the flooring is falling away from the floor joist. It's dropped probably about a half to 3/4 inch in places along the front of the building there. When you walk in, you notice the carpet. We've attempted to have this carpet cleaned a couple of times. The last time we had it cleaned, the carpet guy said there's no way we can clean it because I fixed to pull it up off the floor. It's been in there so long. I believe it was used when it was originally put in the building, and I believe it came out of one of the churches here in town that was replacing carpet. As you walk on through the building, the first thing you do, you look down the hallway, straight down the center of the police department building, and the floors go like this. The floor joists are sticking up, but the floors are warping in. They're warping down. So then, and in turn, they're pulling away from the joist that they're replacing along the whole structure of the building. If you look at the door to my office, when it's closed, it has a 3/4 inch gap on one side of it. It's fallen 3/4 inch. On the other, it's about a 1/4 inch gap. So what happens is you've got a door facing that's got a 3/4 gap like this, and it's normal at this side. So what it's telling us is the building is moving one way or the other. If you move on down through the building, if you look to the right, the desks that are on the right-hand side of the building, most of those desks are shimmed between 2 to 4 inches with wood blocks because the floor has sunk that far on that side of the building. When officers get up out of their chairs, they got to hold on to it because it'll lean up against the wall over there. So that's a problem we have.
That'd make a good Turbinex commercial, wouldn't it?
Okay, but so we got 2 to 4 inch shim blocks under the desk on the right-hand side of the office over there. As you go on down to John's office, his office door is the same way. It's got that big crack at the door, and it indicates that the building is leaning possibly to the back or to the side. Move on back to the building. There's a storage closet between the bathrooms and kind of like a shower closet we have there. When you open that door up, the first thing you see when you look in is all these exposed pipes that go straight underneath the building, and they run along the dirt. They're not buried in the dirt, they're just laying on the dirt underneath the flooring. What that used to be at one time was a fire department, and that's where they park their trucks on the dirt floors there. And then I believe they run the piping and then put in some flooring to get the floor up, and they set the floor joist, I believe, on 8-eye blocks or concrete blocks underneath there, and didn't level out anything underneath it, so it's sinking to the back of the building and to one side. So once you leave that part of the building, you move on back to the bathroom. When you open the bathroom door, you can't get it open all the way because it drags on the floor. You get the door open about 1/3 of the way, and then it starts dragging on the floor there where the carpet is. We've cut it off 2 or 3 times. It's finally got to the point now where we're up underneath the hollow of the door because we got it cut off, and it's still dragging. So we just try not to even worry about it anymore. If you step into the bathroom, turn the light on, and look, first thing you do, you look upstairs, and what you're going to see is that the ceiling is sagging from condensation moisture. It's either possibly getting in from the outside or from the air conditioner unit. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell where it's coming from. So you look at the commode, step back and look at the commode is leaning backwards against the wall. It used to be straight up flush. Now the floor back there is caved in or is moved or sunk in about 3 inches, and it's taken the commode with it, which has put pressure on the lines and evidently it's twisted the line somehow. The sink in that bathroom doesn't work anymore. Don't know why. We plunged it, put wires through it, whatever we could do, and it still won't run water. So I don't have a reason why. Okay, if you move on back to the back of the building, on the left-hand side where our computer is, you notice the ceiling tiles up there, it's the same way as the ceiling tiles in the bathroom. We had to find a poke a hole in it with our fingers so the water could run out, put a 5-gallon bucket on top of our computer so to keep the water off our computer. So, and the floor back there is the same way. It's sunk probably about 3 inches on that side of the room. There's a place there by the computer where if you step on it, the floor drops about 3/4 of an inch, and evidently the floor joist has just totally come loose right there. Move on back through the building to the very back, go out the back door, turn around, look at the wall. First thing you see on the left-hand side is the wall itself has deteriorated to the point where the bricks have all fallen out of the bottom of it. There's a hole about this big around. All the bricks have fallen out on the ground, and you can just see up underneath the building. That's the main support wall, by the way, too. If you look to the right, you'll see where patches have been done over years in the building fascia. And there's a number of cracks that have already come back after they've been repaired in years past. If you look to the right and look at the brick wall that's adjoining our building at the back, but it's the common wall between our building and the one next to it, you'll notice that at the top there's a 3-inch crack. And that crack goes down about 1 inch at the bottom. That has just happened in the last year, and I'll explain what has caused that here in a minute. There's a brick wall back there that has a hole big enough you can drive a car through because the wall's caved in on it.
That's the other building.
Yeah, the building next to us there. Also, if you step back and look up, there's no roof on that building now. It's totally caved in the last year. And every so often, more boards are falling, and it's continuing to progress to the south, down the side of our building. And as it does, it's pulling the walls in like this. You can get in there and look at it, the top of the wall is sticking out, the bottom is sticking in. So it's just a matter of time before the rest of that wall at the back just completely caves in. If you get on top of the building, you'll notice that at the very front of the building next to us, there's about a 3-inch gap that runs from the far side all the way up to where it meets our building, and it starts cracking into the fascia in our building. If you get outside and you look at that building, the top of it is leaning like this, and the bottom of it is leaning like this. So one of these days, I don't know when, it may be tomorrow, maybe a month, maybe 2 years from now, but that wall is going to come down. So the pictures are the ones that we just took. Those have just been taken like within the last couple of weeks. So I've had contractors out to give me bids on what it would cost to do different renovations on different parts of the building over there. Without going into their actual bid process or their bids, I'd just like to read you a couple of quick letters here from the contractors. This contractor is, in reference to your request for updating of the building that is now housed in the police department, it is our professional opinion that the structure of this and the adjoining building does not justify cost-effective means of updating. This is due to existing factors. Adjoining buildings sharing the exterior wall is falling, thus making the wall of the police department leaning in that direction, causing an unsafe structural support. Brick veneer is degrading due to age and stress from adjoining buildings. To repair would mean complete removal of all brick and starting from ground level up. Due to the age of the building, the interior floor joists are sagging and warped, making the floor not level. The roof structure is visible, showing age and deterioration. Due to the condition and past problems with existing plumbing, freezing plumbing, sewer lines can and will crack, causing an unhealthy work environment. The existing plumbing was never buried beneath the ground level. It is our opinion that to bring the building up to state or local codes, it would not be cost effective for this structure. And I've got a couple, 3 letters from contractors are all in that same category of talking about the building.
Did we get a copy of that?
Yeah, we do. I just got 2 of those. I can get you a copy for you.
Who was that from, Roy? Who was that from?
This one is from a company out of Sherman. It's called Smart Handiworks, Home Repair, Light Remodeling. Most of these contractors are in Sherman. They know nothing about this building. I've had 4 contractors look at it. 2 of them are from Sherman, 2 of them are from here in Howe. I've got a couple letters here, there's another one here, and here's just a basic comment about the same condition that I just talked about. My proposal is this. We got $17,000 out of this building over here. I propose that we go to the community center. We make this a multi-purpose building, multi-use building. What I propose is this. All the new red would be new construction on this building. This is a floor plan I kind of looked at with Steve's help. We kind of looked at this thing. What this does, it gives the best use of the building for the money, the best use of the building for the community, and everybody concerned. This building is so big down there that when you walk in the door, you place a wall straight across this building with a door in it. You go to the right, you will have a community center that has a room that can be rented just like we do now. That's 25 foot wide by 28 foot long. You can seat 100 people in there. You'll still have the availability of the kitchen. It will still be intact. It will be used just like it would for anything else. Snap Center, if we ever bring our Snap Center back, or if they ever show an interest in coming back here, we can house them right there with no problem. We also set this thing up so that the men's and women's bathroom on the opposite end of the building is set up for the availability for that also during any hours of the day or night when it's used. There's a common hallway that runs back here, and that way this can be used with a common hallway for the men's and women's restroom, for a Snap Center, for community center. This chamber here would make the council chambers like we have now probably 2.5 times as big. Our municipal court is standing in the street. It's standing room only, and that's out in the street. This would be plenty big for that. We can still use it for community center, still use it for Snap Center, all this kind of stuff. What we proposed was put up a couple new walls, new office for Dana, make her office bigger. Her office is cramped as it is right now. This area here would make actually the city hall usable area probably almost twice the size of what it is now. This back area, which used to be, I think, where they served a lot of the Snap Center meals, is a very large, long office we use for a conference room, a working office for Mr. McKay and his staff. We're going to leave the tile floors in. About 99% of the building. The only thing that probably be changed would be the carpet floors in the actual part for the city hall. I talked to the clerks, and they're kind of concerned about security during the daytime when they're working. So what we did, we designed this thing in such a way that there would be security locked doors in certain strategic locations that would actually just seal them off from the general public. There's be a counter here, be a 10-foot long service counter. Over the top of this service counter will be a security door that can be dropped at night, locked up, and the rest of the facility can be used as it is right now, with no access to the actual city hall complex. The electrical is not up to code right now. My proposal will bring the building electrical up to code as prescribed by our code stuff now. There's some oddballs, just some odd code work needs to be done, but that would all be figured into the price on the estimates I've got. There'll be a double work counter here, station for the two clerks we have, with the availability to be expanded over the years, for the next couple of years. All they do is add one extra workstation in for a third clerk if that ever got to that point where we need more front staff in the office. Like I say, Dana's office would be a 12 by 12 office instead of about a 10 by, I think it's 10 by 9 in there. So we give her much more room for her expanded stuff that she's doing and the more record keeping. This office back here will be a file room, office room, map room for a lot of what Steve has, plus our office records and stuff that can be kept in-house at this location. I checked with contractors for doing all our computer work, to get all our computers put down here. I had contractors come in for the phone system. I can price a modern phone system for here. New antenna for the city radio. I think that was pretty much about it. All the electrical stuff, dedicated electric circuits for computers, for Dan's office, for Barbara's location, for Joy's location. So that's pretty much it. And the price tag for this was in the $15,000 range, based on the bids we currently have now. And like y'all talked about, that could possibly change lower, depending on. I just keep taking bids. People are calling me, and I'm having to come down and I keep talking to them. So that's the complex facility that I proposed for the community center, which will be a multi-purpose use facility. Like I say, the City Hall now is currently got to the point where they're cramped. They have no space to move to. They have no room to get around. And like I say, our municipal court is standing in the street, and it's going to continue to stand in the street for the next number of years because there's more and more stuff going on around here. So about $15,000 for this move, get this all in place. That's for work counters, that's for walls, that's for electrical up to code, that's for carpet, that's for antennas, that's for telephone system, everything. Okay, then what I do, I propose that once the City Hall moves to that location there, is I'll be allowed to bring the police department to this location here. It's very minimal here, a little bit of cosmetic work in here, take out that counter, a little bit of carpet in here, new phone system, and some new furniture, because most of the furniture I have over there is stuff that I have had to go out and get out of people's trash. I have knocked on their doors and said, can I have that desk sitting in your trash out there for one of my auctions because I need some more desks. So that's how we've got most of that stuff over there. Most of the drawers don't work. Drawers are missing. John's desk is split right down the center, and we just got it ratted together to hold it so it don't fall apart anymore. So basically $8,000, that's with all brand new furniture here. And that's with a couple ceiling fans, fix a couple lights in that office back there, fix this counter here, and put in some new carpet just in this room here. Now, a third part of my proposal is this. We take the old police facility, however way we need to do it, get it on the market to sell it, get whatever we can get out of it. Then my suggestion is this. The fire department is having problems with their stuff too. They're overcrowded, they have no room for storage. Right now they're currently having to remodel some of their office space to get more storage space, am I right, Jerry? Okay. They could use a new building. They could use a lot more room. So I propose that we get rid of the old police building, sell it for whatever we get out of it, take that money, put it in an account, and earmark it for the fire department building fund. Then somebody's going to say, well, we ain't got no room over here. I've got that kind of figured out. I don't need a big parking lot, a 60 by 50 parking lot sitting here. My suggestion is you give it to the fire department. You come up with a little bit more money at budget time and help them get something up and started for a new building over there. They can have a 60 by 50 building put right in there. Attach it to the building that they got now. They can have offices, they can have classrooms, they can have storage, and then they can take the other building part where their offices are now and maybe make at least another area for a truck bay, maybe, possibly something like that, which would alleviate a lot of their problems. Even if it came push to shove and they needed more room, we could always come in and take down that old white building right there, run a building on back, and they could have double the size fire department at very minimal, because there's no room for them to move to. There's no. If they had to build something, they'd have to go down here and buy some land or something. It's just like if we totally replaced the police department. Steve did a little checking on some of that. We were looking at $165,000 to replace the police department if we put it on a building that sat on city property that we didn't have to buy. We built a 60 by 50 building right there for the police department. It cost about $165,000. So right now, we're kind of sitting in kind of a pretty decent position. Getting insurance money here for $17,000. We're not going to be spending a whole lot of money to get this moved out. Any questions?
Who is this first bid from? The handwritten one?
Yeah, that's from
It's got a signature.
Yeah, it's from, well, I've got all their cards. over here.
14-9.
That's from, is that for the, which building is that? Go down yonder?
Yes.
Okay.
Harold G.
Yeah, it's Harold.
Harold G. Scribble.
Yeah, I've got his card over there.
Daryl Nelson.
Yeah, it's Daryl Nelson, that's what it is. I'm sorry. Like I say, I have letters from some of these contractors basically telling us that don't spend the money on the old building. You know, use it for something more constructive than.
Thank you, Chief Keefe. Do we have any further questions for Chief Keefe?
Yeah. Roy, and all this stuff you've done, it looks real good, but I'd like to see one more possible option or consideration, possibly bids or whatever on you possibly moving down to the city, community center, snap center, along with kind of a multi-purpose, leaving the city hall here.
I can do that. Just the only thing that I'd actually kind of thought about that, and based on, yeah, I could probably go down there for probably $15,000, but the use of the building and the fact that that building sits there with other people in it at night, and I think you realize that I have a lot of evidence.
I realize that.
Okay, you know, narcotics and guns and that kind of stuff. So I mean, we're going to have to build some kind of special room. Okay, that was one of the considerations I looked at about going down there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can.
I would like to see something. You know,
I can do
that
that.
line, you know, you won't take as much of the building as like we put in the city hall down there. That's for sure.
Well, we probably take at least 60 to 50 space because that's what we looked at over here. That you can get close enough to enough area for police department.
But I'd like to see something like that.
I can do that.
Okay. That's all I got.
I'd like to recommend that we work on this in a work session to really, you know, just focus on this and just whenever y'all want to have it, you know, I'd like to do it within the next month prior to, you know, the budget coming out, because we will have budget sessions coming up pretty quick. So that's my recommendation, is to work on this in a work session.
So move.
All four?
I'll get you a couple of those letters tonight before I leave.
You want to set the date for the work session? Is it something, Roy, is that something you could have early next week?
About towards the end of next week, would that be okay? Because I'll have to get all these contractors, have to come back out, take a look at that.
That's zero, June 27th, Thursday night.
But that's only one little part of this whole thing. You know, just another bid. I'd like to see some engineering, some engineering thought about, you know, what can be done. I appreciate all the work the chief's done, but, you know, we need to have some.
We're going to set a work session date to sit down and clarify everything that we want the chief to do prior to a new presentation.
Yeah, Chief probably got a lot on his plate, and I'm not so sure we need to have him doing this in any kind of direction. So he certainly got some good thoughts, but, you know, well, to send him out here doing
a lot of, I hate to see, I mean, because I was here when the city spent the money on that building back several years ago. And we spent very minimal money at that time, and I hate to see putting more money into it. They have no place to grow into over there.
Well, yeah, I understand that. What I'm saying is, and these guys are good law enforcement officers. I appreciate it. We discussed that in our evaluation session. I really appreciate it, Chief. But I would like to have some thought put in it, say with Steve, maybe our city engineer, on what should we do. I'm really not for doing a whole lot of work, spending a lot of money, and then for us going to have to do something here in the next 5-6 years. Because obviously this is they are outgrowing this place. So we really need to have a coaching plan of what do we want to do. Well, maybe this is it. But I think we need to talk about it. The work session is where we talk about it. But I would like to have some other inputs. You know what I'm saying? These guys are professional too. Professional construction, space usage type things.
You're talking like a structural engineer looking stuff?
Well, I don't know. I'm ready to do something, but I would like to know what we're going to do and have some thought be given on different options. Is what I'm saying. Because we're going to spend $17,000 and then plus whatever else, and we know that the budget's going to. There's really going to be we're going to be hard pressed to come up with any extra money for anything. So, to start thinking about, we're going to do some other things and, we can put up a building here. We need to give it some thought and see whether or not we want to present that to the citizens of Howe through tax increases and stuff.
So when do you want to set a work session?
When did you, tomorrow?
Tomorrow? No, tomorrow's not good. June 27th. Is everybody available maybe
I got a
Thursday?
ball game, an all-star ball game. I gotta go to. Supposed to do it early.
So you're wanting like an engineer to be at the meeting and construction?
Not necessarily, I mean, I don't think you can set that up that quick, But, he's put a lot of thought in this. But I would like to, and I understand, guys go over and look at that and say, gee, the floor's doing this, the walls are doing that. And we get a contractor in. Well, the contractors are a little self-serving. Whatever they say, they're going to be the ones reaping the benefit. Now, obviously, we get an engineer or someone that does this for a living, or an independent contractor, that we say, you'll never get this job, I want to know what we need to do. Hopefully they'll be a little more, or less than embellished what needs to be done. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of an independent look at it, but a professional look of what needs to be done.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
And I don't think one of the work sessions is going to do it.
When do you want to have a work session?
Go back to that same person. Well, whenever you want to have it.
Mark, do you have logging all-star starting?
I'm in his all-star bracket.
So what days are you talking?
What's that?
What are the days?
Those are, that's the week of it, the 27th.
So what about July 9th? July 9th would be the week before the meeting. You want the first work session on July 9th? Chief Kennedy, July 9th. You work with Steve on getting what Sam requested? Okay. At 6 o'clock? Okay. Thank you, Chief Kennedy. The next item is to consider the light usage agreement. Consider proposed light usage agreement with Howe Independent School District for 200 and 202 East Davis, the softball fields. In your packet, there is a letter dated June 19th that was drawn up with Mr. Sears. What this does is when girls softball uses these fields, the city has always been responsible for the lights. There's always been a verbal agreement. I think it needs to be something that needs to be in writing for the city to adopt, for the school board to adopt, so there's no question on who's going to pay for the light usage during these months. And the proposed months are May, June, and July. And that does, I know softball starts practicing April, end of April. The high school quits their games 1st of May, so it would be all of May, June, and July.
Do anything in July, do they?
Well, if baseball hosts a tournament, we do ask to use the softball field because it is a better field. It is the better field in town. And this way it's clear cut. The school doesn't come back and say, well, you're responsible for this with a $5,000 light bill from a year ago. So, the usage last year was around right at $2,000 for the 3 months.
So we could budget $3,000?
Yes.
$2,000?
Yes.
Is that in the budget?
Yes. Is to get rid of the handshake agreements that were in the past, and we have written agreements between the school and the city for this. And it's my recommendation that we accept this.
So moved.
Jerry?
Second.
Mark?
I mean, this is kind of an open-ended deal. How do we control it? Do we control the cost?
We can meet with Parks and Rec and, say the city is responsible for this. Please, get to the softball and baseball coaches that as soon as the game is over, the lights need to be turned out, et cetera, et cetera.
Is this on our meter or is this on the school?
It's on the school's meter.
So,
We can, we can.
well, I
first
just,
of May, we
I
can
just say
send
this
it
is
out
kind of
and
an
have
open-ended letter.
They send us a copy of the billing with the light usage.
And it's a separate meter.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
The concession stand,
So
the
then-
Concession and the-
meter, and the field lights.
So all you do
So we're
is-
not paying for like the whole school appropriation.
Right, right,
And it gives us access for the whole year because we're going to pick it up in the big months.
correct. Correct. Any further discussion? All for it? Now we need to go into executive session. To consider the Planning and Zoning Commission appointment and discuss the litigation of the city council.